Today's apologist claim: atheists believe God does not exist. Most theists, and indeed most people, think that claiming, "I believe God does not exist," and "I do not believe God exists," are just two ways of saying the same thing. But they are actually two very different claims. The statement, "I believe God does not exist," is a claim of active belief in the non-existence of God. And anyone who claims the non-existence of something carries the burden of proof to support that position. If he or she has no credible evidence on which to base this claim, then it is a statement of faith, no better than any other faith-based belief. This is a problem for someone asserting the non-existence of all gods, since there is no way to prove that non-existence. You simply cannot prove that kind of universal negative. However, if the God in question is a specific God for which there is some testable evidence, then the claim that God does not exist can meet the burden of proof, at least within that narrow scope. For example, the Bible claims that its God is good, but it describes his behavior as demonstrably evil, which means he cannot exist as described in the Bible, at least not without using a definition of evil that automatically excludes God. On the other hand, the statement, "I do not believe God exists," is not a claim of belief in the non-existence of God. It doesn't exclude the possibility that there is a God, only that the person making the statement lacks an active belief that one exists. Because it makes no claim about active belief, only about a lack of belief, it is a position that has nothing to demonstrate and thus does not shoulder any burden of proof. To illustrate this in a different way, if I were to claim I was abducted by aliens, you probably wouldn't believe me. It might be possible I was actually abducted, but it is far more likely that I would be delusional or lying to you. You would rightly demand evidence of my claim, and until I provided it, it would be entirely reasonable for you to be skeptical without claiming to be certain that I'm wrong. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, after all. The confusion in understanding the difference between believing God does not exist and not believing God exists can be cleared up by understanding the meaning of agnosticism. Contrary to what most apologists believe, agnosticism is not a position somewhere on the spectrum between theism and atheism. Theism means a belief in gods, and atheism means lacking a belief in gods. Gnosticism is a claim of knowledge of gods, and agnosticism is lacking a claim of knowledge of gods. Thus, a Gnostic theist believes in gods and claims they exist. An agnostic theist believes in gods but does not claim to know which, if any, exist. A Gnostic atheist does not believe in gods and claims to know they don't exist. And an agnostic atheist does not believe in gods but does not claim to know they don't exist. Thus, "I believe God does not exist" would be an accurate statement for a Gnostic atheist to make, whereas "I do not believe God exists" would be a more accurate statement for an agnostic atheist. See the difference? In my experience, the great majority of atheists are agnostic atheists, since that is the most rational position.